Adelaide's 7 News Early Edition with Gertie Spurling starts now.
Hello and welcome to the 7 News Early Edition. An alleged sword-wielding drug dealer has been arrested following a police chase at Salisbury overnight. As Peter Caldecott reports, the suspect dumped a ute and jumped fences before a shocked resident found him hiding in her backyard.
Police pounced on the suspect just before 9 o'clock last night when he was attempting to hide in the backyard of this Carney Close house. The lady who lives there got the shock of her life when she spotted the intruder who had police hot on his tail.
I was actually terrified, and it's like, my mind was like processing, like, who am I seeing? Like, this is not one of my family members, obviously.
Police quickly arrested the 46-year-old Salisbury East man moments before they had tried to stop his white Holden ute on Commercial Road, but he sped off and dumped it next to the roundabout on the corner of Fendon Road and Ponton Street. Residents saw multiple officers chase the suspect as he tried to escape.
My wife kind of took the initiative. She whipped open the front door and was like, "Hey, what is going, what?" You know?
I'm sure it just gave everybody a fright because, I mean, honestly, when I opened up the door, I wasn't expecting to see police officers. I didn't know what to expect.
When police searched the ute, they allegedly found a quantity of heroin, methamphetamine and a small sword. The suspect was directed to submit to an oral drug test, which he refused. He's facing a string of charges, including dangerous driving to escape a police pursuit, trafficking a controlled drug and possession of a prohibited weapon. Then he instantly lost his licence for 6 months while his vehicle was impounded. The suspect is expected to front the Elizabeth Magistrates Court later today.
Police are still searching for a mobile phone belonging to a young driver charged over a crash that killed 2 children near Mount Gambier. As Mitchell Sariovsky reports, the 22-year-old had nothing to say as he left the courthouse yesterday afternoon.
Accused killer driver Callum Thorne has been bailed to this property on the outskirts of Mount Gambier. Police prosecutors believe someone is hiding the 22-year-old's mobile phone. They say the device, which pinged at the scene and again later at hospital, went missing after the crash which killed 2 children. Thorne was behind the wheel of a ute which slammed into a family of 6 on the Riddock Highway on Sunday. The impact killed 5-year-old Isaac Eichenberg. His sister Keziah died in hospital a day later.
What do you say to the Eichenberg family? Do you know where your phone is?
Police will allege 2 days before the crash, Mr Thorne's brother had searched the internet for a product to block a phone's location. Callum Thorne must present himself to police once a week and will reappear in court next May.
The death toll from devastating flash floods in the east and south of Spain has now reached 95 as rescue teams comb devastated towns and villages. Some areas received a year's worth of rain in just a few hours. Ben Downey is in southern Spain.
Well, we're here just 100 metres from the banks of the Rio Turia, one of the rivers that runs through Valencia, where the floodwaters have subsided to reveal the sheer devastation that's played out as huge surging rapids surge through the city. Here we have car after car after car backed up against one another. You can see they're all scratched. Vegetation is smashed through the front bumpers as rear bumpers and rear wheels crash through windshields. You can see just how much force was going through these floodwaters when a year's worth of rainfall, that's just shy of 500 millimetres, fell inside 8 hours. It has created the worst natural disaster in Spain's modern history, not only destroying huge swaths of infrastructure as scenes like this play all out across the region of Valencia, as in eastern Spain as well as in southern Spain, but they've also killed at this point 95 people. When the floodwaters were at their peak, helicopters were flying all through this region, plucking people from moments of peril as they threatened to kill them in other situations. You had bulldozers having to go door to door to pick up people and pluck them from imminent danger, as well as people in dinghies, water rescue crews going to people's homes. At this stage, roads are closed all throughout Valencia as first responders still try and verify if people are alive and in their homes. Tomorrow, well, it'll be a national day of mourning in Spain as the death toll looks certain to rise.
It's starting to heat up and the Country Fire Service is urging South Australians to make sure they're bushfire ready. With a hotter and drier summer forecast, the fire danger season is starting at least 2 weeks earlier than usual in almost all fire districts across the state.
Conditions throughout spring have continued to deteriorate, and it means that we head into the warmer summer months with conditions that are much drier than normal for this time of year.
This year's campaign has a strong focus on simplifying the steps to be prepared. Donald Trump's campaign has seized on a gaffe by Joe Biden, who appeared to call his supporters garbage. It couldn't come at a worse time for Kamala Harris, who just delivered a message of unity in a final pitch. David Boywood reports.
Well, it doesn't get much tighter than battleground Wisconsin, and that is the focus of both candidates tonight, holding dueling rallies in the deep purple state. But there's an issue overshadowing part of the campaign tonight, and it's not the direct action of either candidate. It was this comment from Joe Biden referencing Trump's Madison Square Garden rally that's still stealing headlines.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
It's forced his deputy onto the back foot and given his one-time rival plenty of ammunition.
Let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for.
My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans.
6 days out, Trump supporters appear to be laying the groundwork for a challenge to the result, seizing on routine election processes in Pennsylvania as signs of fraud as state officials try to calm fears.
There is no evidence of anything indicating any sort of widespread voter fraud, or if at all.
The endorsements keep coming too. Lifelong Republican Arnold Schwarzenegger, the latest, the governor, shunning Trump's claims the US had become a trash can for the world to back Vice President Harris, while astronaut Buzz Aldrin has thrown his support behind the former president.
Buzz Aldrin's very interesting because great astronaut, but he's not the youngest person in this room. But he's very sound.
Here in Wisconsin, pollsters still won't give either candidate the edge in a race that is set to come down to the wire.
The father of a young Melbourne boy killed when a car crashed into his school's playground has paid tribute to his son. As Cassie Zervos reports, Jack Davies' family visited the scene of the accident.
A wall of floral tributes, notes and drawings continue to grow for Jack Davey and his family outside Auburn South Primary School. Last night, his parents and 2 younger sisters visited the scene for the first time since the crash, taking time to read the letters written for their boy. Jack's dad was wearing his son's backpack and holding the 11-year-old's schoolwork. Overnight, Mr. Davey posted this tribute online. Our beautiful son, a shooting star who blessed us for 11 years with love, friendship and kindness. You were my inspiration and motivation. I cannot comprehend the life ahead without you. My mate, my champ, my Jackie boy. Godspeed until we meet again. I love you. Late yesterday, the 40-year-old driver was released from hospital after being assessed. 7 News has been told she recently got her licence but had a clean driving history. Jack was sitting with schoolmates when the car ploughed through the school fence and onto a multi-purpose sports yard, hitting 5 students, including the grade 5 student. Even though the driver was released from custody without charge, the investigation is still very much ongoing. 1 student was released from hospital earlier today. 3 others remain in a stable condition.
Quick action by a garbage truck driver has saved his vehicle. The driver noticed smoke coming from the back of the truck in Sydney's southwest early this morning. He acted quickly, dumping the contents of the truck in the car park of a shopping centre. A fire crew quickly extinguished the flames. After 4 days of negative headlines, the Prime Minister has finally directly addressed the Qantas Flights upgrade saga. As Josh Martin reports, the PM says he never called former CEO Alan Joyce to ask for the perks.
Many are asking what took so long. A carefully worded statement coming after a week of damaging distraction for this Labor government. A spokesperson saying the Prime Minister did not ever call Alan Joyce seeking an upgrade. All travel has been appropriately declared and is a matter of public record. The Prime Minister's office also say he did not text or email Joyce, contrary to allegations by former Qantas and Liberal staffer Joe Aston in his new book. He says airline sources say that Mr Albanese as Transport Minister would call Mr Joyce for upgrades. Those claims now directly at odds with the Prime Minister's recollection. The opposition is not buying it.
I honestly wonder how dumb the Prime Minister's office thinks the Australian people are, that they'll be fooled by such a carefully worded statement. The only way this can be resolved is if the Prime Minister refers himself to the Anti-Corruption Commission so this can be adequately investigated.
Any arrangement for changes to flights were made in the normal way, as occurs with many MPs. And I would say some of the response from the opposition in particular to come out when they need to look at their own arrangements.
The government now taking aim at Shadow Transport Minister Bridget McKenzie. The National Senator has previously declared flight upgrades from Qantas and Rex, as well as perks from Emirates like Melbourne Cup and Australian Open tickets. But now she says she's unsure if she's declared all benefits. The Senator writing to Qantas, Virgin and Rex, seeking their assistance to provide a full history of upgrades and flights she may have been in receipt of. McKenzie says if there are any inconsistencies with her previous declarations, she'll update the record.
Ahead on 7 News, fears a huge fire in the UK could delay the delivery of Australia's AUKUS fleet. And Israel has bombed the historic city of Baalbek in northern Lebanon. The airstrikes occurring just 4 hours after it ordered residents to leave. Thousands have fled the city and surrounding region, and it's not yet known if there were any deaths. Israel's bombardment is also continuing in the south, with plumes of smoke seen rising from a village near the border. There are fears a massive fire at the UK's main nuclear submarine manufacturing plant could delay the construction and delivery of Australia's future fleet of AUKUS boats. Network Defence Editor Rob Scott reports.
The fire broke out just before 1 a.m. local time at defence giant BAE Systems facility in the northwest of England. Social media videos show large flames and plumes of smoke pouring from the plant. Authorities reassuring the public the fire posed no nuclear risk, but 2 workers were taken to hospital suffering suspected smoke inhalation. The shipyard is 150 years old. It's where the UK's nuclear submarines have been built since the 1960s. It's also where the future SSN AUKUS boats, the joint nuclear submarine project between the UK and Australia, will be designed and built. The first of those subs were expected to roll off the production line late next decade. But experts fear that timeline could now be in jeopardy because the fire started inside what's called the Devonshire Dock Hall. That's the main massive indoor submarine construction complex. The extent of the damage to that building and its equipment is unclear right now, but because it is so critical to the AUKUS project, it's hard to imagine it won't have a significant impact.
The Australian Submarine Agency will be in close contact with BAE UK. We haven't had any advice that there's any concerns around AUKUS or deliverability of that, but obviously it's early days.
Australia's Defence Department is now scrambling to get more information. The cause of the fire is also still being investigated.
One of the surest signs that summer's on its way is when the jacarandas begin to bloom. But jacaranda season can spell a nightmare for people with allergies, with not everyone welcoming the pretty purple flowers. Hayden Nelson has more.
Well, there's just one sleep left until Movember. No doubt the best time of the year to experience these lovely trees. And getting up close with a jacaranda can be like a warm hug. For those allergic to jacarandas, people who have hay fever, who can suffer sneezing, nasal congestion and wheezing. So there is some advice to prepare before you go out and see the jacarandas. You can wear sunglasses, check the pollen alert level and consider taking an antihistamine. The litter from a jacaranda can feel like a carpet underfoot, and it can be difficult to clean up, so the advice is if you're heading out, maybe park the car a few streets away.
Skydivers have enjoyed a bird's eye view of the pyramids in the Egyptian city of Giza. Nearly 200 daredevils from around the world took part in the Jump Like a Pharaoh International Skydiving Festival. The event, which is now in its 7th year, has doubled in size. Skydivers say jumping near one of the ancient wonders of the world is the thrill of a lifetime. Still to come on 7 News, sport with Tom Wilson as the turmoil continues at the Melbourne Football Club with a key figure stepping aside. And a South Aussie quick steals the spotlight in the first session of Australia A's tour match in Mackay.
We begin with breaking AFL news. There's fresh turmoil at the Melbourne Football Club. The Demons chief executive Gary Pert has just told staff he's resigning. 7 News understands Pert has lost the faith of key club figures in recent months. It comes in the wake of bids from star players Clayton Oliver and Christian Petrarca keen to leave the club. Well, Australian cricket coach Andrew McDonald has extended his contract through to the end of 2027. 4 weeks out from the start of the Test series against India, McDonald says he's still undecided about David Warner's replacement. The contenders include Marcus Harris, Cam Bancroft and 19-year-old Sam Constance.
We're genuine in the fact that we haven't made a decision and we don't tend to make decisions until we have to, and that will be at the end of the second Australia A game.
The first Australia A game started in Mackay this morning. Captain, who is SA's Nathan McSweeney, won the toss and sent India A into bat. Jordan Buckingham claimed 2 early wickets. Well, Brisbane Heat's flying start to the Women's Big Bash continued with an emphatic 28-run win over the Melbourne Renegades. After setting a total of 8 for 169 at Allan Border Field, young leg spinner Grace Parsons starred for the Heat with the ball, taking 3 for 22 in just her second match.
Appeal and given. How about the 3 wickets for Parsons?
Brisbane's on top of the table after back-to-back wins. Well, Alexei Popyrin claimed a huge scalp at the Paris Masters, upsetting world number 5 Daniil Medvedev in the second round. Both men were fired up during a gripping 3-setter. Medvedev almost injuring himself in a fit of anger. Needs to work on the hands. Popyrin won a final set tiebreaker to reach the round of 16. World number 9 Alex de Minaur also advanced, winning in straight sets to stay on track for a debut appearance in the season-ending ATP Tour Finals. And the Diamonds avoided a humiliating 4-0 sweep in the Constellation Cup, winning the final game of the series 63-50 in Melbourne. Sophie Garbin was perfect for the Aussies, shooting 36 goals from as many attempts.
Obviously, we're pretty disappointed with how we've played, so we really wanted to leave it all out there today.
The Silver Ferns won the series 3-1, raising the cup for just the 3rd time in their history. That's our sport, Gertie.
Thanks for that, Tom. Still to come on 7 News, there's some more sunshine ahead in the city. I'll have your local forecast next.
Claim the city for the glory of Rome.
Prepare to be entertained as Paul Mescal and the cast of Gladiator 2 join Sunrise live.
The odds are against you.
The odds are always against me. The epic in-studio Brekkie TV exclusive. Tomorrow.
Halloween treats are not just for the kids. The animals at this zoo in the UK are also enjoying some tasty sweets today. The lemurs were kept busy with some spooky bat-shaped puzzle feeders, putting their foraging skills to the test. The wolverines were given frozen pumpkins, which proved a little frustrating for some, while the storks seemed happy enough to stroll through their very own pumpkin patch. Taking a look at the day's weather now, and we're expecting a partly cloudy day with a top of 25 in the city. 36 in Coober Pedy, 34 in Roxby Downs, 28 in Port Augusta, 24 in Clare, 21 in Port Lincoln, 23 in Murray Bridge, 20 in Victor Harbour, 21 in Kingscote, and 18's the top for Mount Gambier. A possible shower or storm developing in Brisbane, 31 there. Showers developing in 25 in Sydney. A shower or two in 19 in Melbourne, and sunny in 33 over in Perth. Back home, a mixed bag ahead, mostly sunny in 24 tomorrow, 34 on Saturday. A possible shower, then sunny on Sunday, 23's the top. Cloud clearing on Monday, partly cloudy and 28 degrees on Tuesday. And a possible shower and 31's the top for Wednesday. That's all from 7 Adelaide's early edition. Will and Rosanna will have all the day's top stories in 7 News at 6, and I'll see you again at 4. Bye for now.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.